Hello, beautiful people. How are you guys doing? How's everyone doing? Hope you all are doing great. Welcome back to my channel. So, in today's video, a lady came on to share her story of how she went from being a virgin at almost 30 years old to being a single mom in a survivor mode. Let's go and watch her tell her story and people's reaction to it. And when we come back, we'll talk a bit about it.
What I really wish is that for you men to be honest with women from the beginning. I've been battling this for years, crying for years, because I went from a virgin at almost 30 years old to a single mother. And it hurts me because I've been silent for too long. And all I hear people say is they disrespect women and mothers all the time. But they don't never talk about how men lie and deceive women. And they don't even want to be with them. I wish I would just be honest with women before the trauma begins. So I went from a virgin to almost 30 years old to a single mom to be in trauma, to be in survival mode. That's what obsessed me the most. Like, I was a good girl my whole life, loyal to people that deceived me the most. And that's what messes me up the most. Like, I didn't even have a choice whether or not to be in survival mode. But you men don't care, you just move on to the next. You don't care who you put in survival mode. And y'all not trying to elevate at all. You're not trying to be with any woman. You're not trying to be with the woman that you really want to be with. Because you play games. You all play games for generations to come.
In my opinion, a woman who thinks her biggest value is her coochie and gives it to every man, and a woman who thinks her biggest value is her coochie and gives it to no man are the same woman. Same coin, different side. You are going to learn the hard way that men do not care. A man will still dog you out, treat you like garbage, and leave you as a single mother struggling like he would at 304. Ladies, you will never be rewarded for being a good girl. The only thing you get at the end of saving yourself for a man is a man's acknowledgement. And a man is not a prize. A man will not love you more, treat you better, not cheat on you, or be a better husband just because you held out on dating and experiencing intimacy with men before him. And if we're being honest here, I feel like there are certain types of men that look for women like that. Women who are religiously male-centered, women who feel like they are better than the next woman because she has not slept with men, and women who are inexperienced and can be easily manipulated. Now, I'm not saying that as a woman you need to be giving your goods to every man that you date. Far from that. But we need to acknowledge that men, society, and religion do not want the best for women. So stop giving them so much power on what you should be doing with your own body.
Now, I don't know if you guys have seen the video, but when it comes to the whole 30-year-old virgin turned single mother now put in survival mode conversation, I'm finna say the quiet part out loud. In my humble opinion, it doesn't look like that woman is taking any accountability for the role that she played, for the choices that she made. You understand, that contributed to the situation that she's currently in. And because it's so much more blaming the other person, the other party, I fear that she's keeping herself in a position where she is subject to this type of treatment again. It's going to happen again because she's not learning her lesson. And before y'all get in my comments, I'm not saying that she can't make a mistake, nor am I saying that she doesn't have the right to be able to express, you understand, being played or feeling a way because she got played or she was lied to. I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is that in her testimony, there was a lot of victimizing. There was a lot of blaming the other party. And I didn't really hear anything about, you know what, I learned from this, you understand, to not do this anymore. A lot of it seems like she felt like she wasn't supposed to get or receive some of the treatment that she endured because of how she lived her life. All right, so straight out the gate, right? She starts off the video with, I wish men would be honest. You understand? She says that they never really talk about how men lie and how they deceive to get what they want and how they don't really want the woman for real. They just get what they want out of her and then they leave her for dead. And this is where I'm like, you see, there's no accountability. Either you were willfully, you understand, naive, or you were just genuinely naive. You know, there are still some lovers out there that just don't really think that people are this fucking evil or this nasty. But for you to say that you wish that people would talk about it more, as if men they don't even have the privilege of getting on social media without hearing how men ain't shit 24/8. 25/8. They hear it every day. You're literally seeing video after video after video about women complaining about men, about anybody who has a romantic relationship with men complaining about all of their flaws. You understand? And on top of that, before technology, our grandmothers was saying it, our moms was saying it, our aunts was saying it. If you chose not to listen, that's on you. But don't say, I wish that they would talk about it, because they talk about it all the time. So where's the accountability? Then she explains how she has trauma from being almost a 30-year-old virgin to now becoming a single mother, now having to be in survival mode. She did not ask for this. And what hurts her the most about it all is that she was a good girl her whole life. She was a good girl her whole life. Red flag. Because who are you being a good girl for? As soon as I heard it, I immediately knew that you were somebody who was male-centered. It's not a bad thing. You can grow out of it. You can deconstruct yourself out of that thinking. But you have to acknowledge and take accountability that that is your way of thinking. Because who are you being a good girl for? Why? Because of his choices. Him not doing right by you, that makes you no longer a good girl. Because her sentence was, I was a good girl. You understand? Did you think that being a good girl, living your life the way that you think a good girl is supposed to live her life, was going to mean that you now automatically get exempted from certain treatment? Did you believe that? If you believe that, why do you believe that? Why do you think that being a good girl meant all of a sudden that you were supposed to receive more compared to somebody who is what? Less of a good girl. You gotta face that. You gotta address that. Then she says, oh, I didn't even have a choice. I didn't even choose to have to be in survival mode. Most people don't choose survival mode. Most people don't choose that life. And then you saying that you didn't have a choice. Once you started seeing what you were dealing with, because I'm sure you were seeing some signs before you got pregnant, my love. I'm sure you were seeing some of the signs before you got pregnant, my love. And maybe, and this is me, again, giving you the benefit of the doubt, right? Maybe you were just really a lover girl who was genuinely thinking that she just wanted to, finally found love and she did everything right. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. You understand? But with that being said, you had a choice. Once you started seeing certain things and being like, you know what? This is not working out. You had a choice on whether or not you wanted to bring life into a situation that you already saw was not going to be, you understand, very favorable to you. You saw it already, but you decided to do that for whatever reason. Maybe it's also because of that conditioning that you have about being a good girl. You understand? Some pro-choice choices are considered not of being a good girl. So maybe you felt that way too. Again, you have to take accountability for that choice. You played a role. You played a role in the situation that you're in. It's not all his fault, all his fault, all his fault. I'm sorry, it's not. There's certain things that you could have avoided and you chose not to. And now that you're in the situation that you're in, you're still just like, I've been crying about this for so long. I feel so bad about it and I just need to talk about it. Like, you're suffering with this guilt, with this feeling for what? For what? Your virginity should never be centered around a man. Ever, ever. The reason why men feel so happy when they're losing their virginity is because that shit is centered around self. Regardless of the woman that they lose it to. Half of the time, they don't even give a fuck about the woman. Because it's something that they wanted to do for themselves. Not so that they can seem better in the eyes of the woman that they're sleeping with. Only women do that. And from the beginning, once that's your mindset, you already lost. You already lost. Because now you're in this position where you thought that because you were a virgin, because you did all of these things, because you're supposed to be considered better amongst the rest, you were supposed to get better treatment. And now because you did all the right things and you got to where you're at now, you're having a really hard time processing it. Some accountability needs to be held.
So this young woman here is 30 years old. She was a virgin for 30 years. And then she had a baby by a nigga. The nigga left her. And now she's confused and she's like, oh, she waited this whole time, didn't have sex. She was a good girl for so long. found a man, had a baby, and now he's just moved on to somebody else like it's nothing. Let's get into it.
I do not. Where she went wrong is if you're waiting until marriage, that's between you and God, not you and man. Okay? You worshipped virginity as if it was your idol versus like you doing it in God's name or you doing it to honor God. Because man will stay man. A man will be a man. A man is another human. So you shouldn't be surprised if a man does what a man wants to do. And what he did, there were signs before, but you made sure that your virginity is such a gift or such a gift thinking you're going to get something back into it. Oh, no. Oh, no. It should be a symbol of you honoring the good Lord, not your good man.
So now my take is, honestly, I'm only finding it a little bit hard to feel sorry and bad is because you had 30 years, right? It doesn't take anybody 30 years to see how people move. You can learn from other people's mistakes, right? And because you sat here and made it like, oh, you're a virgin. And, you know, some women like to act like they're better than others because, oh, they didn't fuck nobody, whatever. But this is proof that this can still happen to you. Now, my belief is that she has seen the red signs before it happened. You want to know why? Because we always do. As women, we need to start taking accountability because there's always red flags before things happen. And I'm even speaking for myself. There's things that I've seen and I still decided to continue thinking that shit was finna disappear. It will not.
No.
And I mean, of course, she doesn't deserve this. I'm not saying she deserves this. And she seems like she's really out of it. Absolutely. No, she does not deserve this. But let's start taking accountability. I'm pretty sure you've seen some signs, but you probably just was at the point where it's like you 30, you wanna lose it. You wanna have and you maybe they didn't plan it. Who knows? But it's like, let's just start taking more accountability. Maybe go to therapy. Maybe start doing your research first. Like, you can learn from people's mistakes, honestly. Like, you don't got to be the one. And of course it's hurtful because she waited 30 years just to do something like that.
Yeah, I feel bad saying I don't feel bad, but I don't feel bad saying that I feel bad. I don't feel bad. Like, because 30, and then we need to take away this whole thing of if you get the ring, if you wait till virginity, if you do all these things and you do what you're supposed to do, that the reward after that is for you to get everything that you want. It doesn't happen like that sometimes because there's a lot of red flags that she missed. And you assumed your identity was virginity and all these things. Ooh. And that's where a lot of women, the older that you get, that's where we get things wrong. Where you identify your identity with the ring, with marriage, and virginity. It's never gonna, it's just never gonna work. It's just, and then you told the internet.
And lastly, I feel like she said, basically men should start telling the truth and things of those sorts. But the thing is, I feel like we're always trying to focus on other people. Start focusing in on yourself. You cannot change anybody. You could tell them, oh, tell the truth. You just cannot. And I'm not saying she's wrong. Yes, men should tell the truth. They should be transparent. But unfortunately, that's just not the case at all times. So what do? Take heed, do your research, make sure, just do all that you can. But let's just start looking at the red flags from the beginning. Because I know you've seen it. I know there was something there. Period. And now go work.
30-year-old virgin to single mother is crazy as hell. Like, the timeline is crazy as hell, I know. But to wait your entire 20s and get to your 30s and decide to finally give it up, and the first man you give it up to turns you into a single mother, a baby mama who says she is in survival mode. Now that's crazy. How does something like that even happen? I need more details. I need more context, but I'm sure it's coming. All right, so this black woman looked traumatized, y'all. She got a blank stare, staring at the screen, mug on her face, bun to the back, looking tired, wore out, stressed out, and just at her wit's end. But this is why I say there's no glory in being a good girl. Like, waiting all that time to turn around and ultimately get played to the left. This is why a lot of so-called good girls have a high level of trauma. When you're a no good, lying, narcissistic, downright bad girl, 304 or whatever, like, those women, they mental health be a little bit better. I know you're probably like, how, what, where? Like, they mental health when it comes to men. I'm going to be specific. When it comes to dealing with the opposite sex, they already know a lot about how these men are going to operate. They've seen the dark sides of men. They've moved through enough men to know how 80% of them are going to pretty much act the same, and like there's a small percentage of men that are actually going to be exceptional good men, and they don't come that often, and only so many women get those men. And so for everybody else, you're either going to consistently get played and let it drag you to the bottom and have you feeling like how she feel, overwhelmed, played, disgusted, like she just cannot handle what is obviously happening to her. And even though she wants to feel so special and so unique, that story has happened to so many women out here, and they still have to pick that shit up and keep it moving and take care of their child. I know she's feeling down and out right now, and so many people want to feel sorry for her, but really it's time for her to go ahead and just accept the reality of what has happened with this man and get herself together, get her shit together, get her bag together, and take care of her child and just move on, because there's more men out here, boo. More men.
It's this lady on TikTok crying because she was 30 years old and she was a virgin. Now she's a single mom. She described herself as a good girl. And as soon as she said that, I realized where her thought process was at. The same mindset that women who think their best asset is their vagina and they have sex with a whole bunch of men is the exact same mindset as a woman who thinks their best asset is their vagina and they don't have sex with any man except for one. Once you realize that a man is going to treat you the way that he's going to treat you based off of who he is and not how many people you had sex with, life would be so much easier. Regardless if you have one body or 100 bodies, as long as the man that you're currently talking to and is one of them, they're happy. Your vagina is the bare minimum of womanhood. You should be a good girl because that's what you want to be, not because you want to be able to tell a man like, look, I have waited 30 years until I got here to have sex with you, and you see he still left you. It happens. Like, I don't know, I feel bad for her, but it's just like your thought process is what got you into this situation. Be who you want to be because that's who you want to be, not for no nigga.
This is exactly what it looks like when you are in religion. And like she even called herself a good girl. When you are sold a dream, when you get it, typically when you are in especially Abrahamic religions, you are sold this idea of waiting out until marriage, purity. If the less touched that you are, the more desirable you'll be a man's prize pick. You are taught so much. You are conditioned in a very specific way. And that's why I say religion breeds pygmies. It breeds women who have low self-esteem, who have no sense of identity, who really value men. They love to have men lord over them. They have no sense of sovereignty. They have no desire to have validation from within. What they do is typically motivated by men. This woman was deceived. She said she entered into the situation a virgin, left with a baby, left with heartache, and left pretty much with her whole psychology screwed. Because imagine if you're sitting here and your outlook on life is, if I do things the right way, if I adjust myself for God, and if I do what I need to do, then I'm going to get a good man. He's going to be a man of God. He's going to take care of me. I'm going to have my child with him. I'm a virgin. I've done things the right way. I'm doing things the right way now. And then to have your world flipped upside down, that is going to shift your reality. There's going to be some psychological damage, not only being done in the present, but in the end, because now your view of religion is probably going to change. Your view of God is going to change. Your view of men is going to change. Nobody equips religious women with the truth. You sell them a dream and then you say, here, practice this. And you already teach them to subdue themselves to a God who rewards their purity. And that's just stupid. Women have sovereignty over their body. Their bodies belong to them. So when they already come into this religion saying, my body's not my own, it doesn't belong to me, it makes it easier to enter into these marriages with the idea of this is his body. He can do what he wants with it. This is what it is. And you're conditioning them to subdue themselves under male leadership. Religion, I have never seen, especially Abrahamic religions, empower women to be sovereign, to be partners. No, they condition women to be servants, as if men are worthy of being served. We are just as smart, if not more. We are just as capable, just as competent, if not more. Why should women be in subjection to men? Absolutely not. And these women have their worlds rocked upside down all the time.
Okay, I want to start by saying that video is very depressing, and I really, really hope that she has a support system to help her. I think her name was Sadaya or Safaya or something along those lines, but I came upon her video just scrolling through TikTok. And after I watched it, it made me want to talk about it. Because men will get on this app all day, every day, talking about body counts. They literally will say they want virgins because they want them to be pure. And my thing is this: y'all want them to be pure so you can treat them the exact same way? You want a woman who's never been with anybody before, even though you have, only to treat the woman that has no body count the same as you would treat one who had 30? This whole situation is sad, and I can promise you that she was lied to. But then you men have learned that new word of vetting, and I've been telling you men this shit over and over. Women would not have to vet you motherfuckers so hard if you just are honest from the beginning. I really hate that for her. And that's why y'all ladies, when these men start talking about body counts, it don't mean shit. Whether you a woman with 30 bodies, a woman with no bodies, if you their preference, Becky with the good hair, or if you happy to be nappy, they are going to be the same motherfucking men regardless. Treat them exactly how they treat y'all. I tell y'all this all the time on my live. Match their motherfucking energy. If they lying, lie back. If they ain't shit, be ain't shit back. When he start moving to the left, you start moving to the motherfucking right. Because again, this is a sad situation, but these dudes are not going to change, and y'all got to stop thinking y'all got to be anything different because they treat all women the motherfucking same. That's why my motto is date the man with the money and fall in love with how he treats you. What do you guys think about this? Leave me a comment. Let's talk about it. And don't forget to hit the follow button.
From being a virgin at almost 30 years old to a single mom in a survivor mode. You know, when men call women leftover, damaged goods and all of that, the question you should be asking is, who made them that way? How did they get there? Some women started off like this lady, thinking that keeping themselves, being a good girl, is going to get them a good man that will worship the ground they walk on. But that is not always the case. Some of these men give a list of how a woman should live before she can meet up to a standard of care. But the problem is that some of them do not know what they want. They will say A and end up doing B. And what some women do not know is that most of these men, when they see that you are naive, they will tend to take advantage of you. All they want to do is to humble you, to see who is going to win or lose. That's the game they are playing. Not because they like you or have good intentions for you. As a woman, you need to have discernment spirit so you don't fall into this type of situation. And you cannot tell me she didn't see any red flag in this man or any sign before they end up being together. Probably she ignored them, thinking that being a virgin is going to change the man later in future, or being a virgin makes her the prize. But that does not mean she deserves what happened to her. No, she does not deserve it at all. But your virginity should be a symbol of you honoring God, not men. Stop ignoring red flags, because there's always a sign before all these things happens. And I see a lot of women saying that religious men do not have good intentions for women, that they just want to subdue them, control them, and all of that. But that's not true. Because a man comes out and say he's religious does not mean he is, or you should believe him. A lot of them just want to identify as being religious. They just want to hide under religion and carry out all their evil doings. If you have a discernment spirit, you will know a man that is truly religious, because even the Bible says, by their fruit you shall know them. But how do you know them when you don't have discernment spirit in you? God's plan is not for women to be subdued or dominated by men. Ephesians 5:25 says, husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her. Christ's love is sacrificial, not controlling. A religious man or a godly husband lives by service, sacrifice, not by subduing a woman. I don't know where you guys are getting that from. A religious man lives by the principles of God and treats a woman right. So as a woman, you need discernment to know a man that is truly religious, a man that is right for you, so you don't end up being deceived and you will not come back and tell us that religious men do not have good intentions for women. No. And to all deceitful men out there treating women badly, turning them into single moms, you have a special place in hell. Trust me, you do. You have a special place in hell. Hell is seriously waiting for you. You better repent. You all are sowing a bad seed and you will definitely reap what you sow. So guys, drop your thoughts in the comment section. Don't forget to like my video, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thanks for watching. See you in my next video. Bye.